Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, I welcome you all to this video. We are with the last topic from the chapter 12 of microwave engineering, the chapter called microwave components. So a family of microwave passive devices as like the E-plenty, H-plenty, Magic T, hybrid rings, directional couplers, hybrid couplers, and based on to the Faraday's rotation principle using the ferrite materials, microwave isolator, circulator, microwave gyrator, and the phase shifter along with the terminator we have been addressing so far. So let us have the last topic called as attenuators to be addressed, and then we can start with the new chapter for the subject. So here we start with our topic, the topic titled attenuator. The title is very self-explanatory as we have the microwave signal propagation expressed in terms of the propagation constant gamma, which is basically a form alpha added to j times beta. Though we see here the real part and imaginary part are distributed into the complex representation here. These are basically beta, as like the previous topic we have addressed the phase shifters. Beta accounts for the phase shift constant, whereas alpha accounts for the attenuation, and this is called as attenuation constant. So the thing with which we can have the attenuation and the phase shift governs for the propagation of the signal, this is called as the complete propagation. Hence, the gamma is called as propagation constant. Now we have the topic called as attenuator. So the attenuator will be a microwave passive device which will attenuate the microwave signal that is propagating through it. Now the extent of attenuation can be different. It can be a complete attenuation so that we can call the device to be a terminator. So if the complete microwave power has been absorbed by certain dielectric material of resistive type here, so it will be acting as a terminator, and when certain percentage of microwave power is attenuated, so it will be a general attenuator we can see here. Now there are different purposes to have the attenuation in the microwave test bench here. The first purpose we can address here is for the measurement of power gain or loss. The measurement of the power gain or loss most possibly is in the terms of decibels here, whereas we have the second intention to use the attenuators for providing isolation between the instruments, or components we can call here. The next purpose can be having for reducing the power input to the intended device here. So we write power input to be in controlled manner. So it will be with the help of the attenuator we can say. And the fourth one for the signal generators. So the signal generators are of the two types we have learned for the microwave tubes and as well as the microwave signal generation onto the semiconductor platform using the negative resistance principle here. So the signal generators with the help of the attenuator are provided the means of calibration for their outputs at the accurate level or the precise level. So these are the intentions to have the use of the attenuators. Now, just now we have discussed that there can be the two types of the attenuators. The fixed attenuators in which the assembly is having the components to their fixed positions here, and the fixed percentage of the microwave power can be absorbed so that there it will be the attenuation, a kind of loss into the type here. So that type of attenuators we can call the fixed attenuators. On the another hand, if we can have the variable amount of the power attenuated, the attenuator is called as variable attenuator here. So in this diagram we have the fixed attenuator. So the three-dimensional view of the fixed attenuator is shown at the uppermost diagram here, where the section of rectangular waveguide is shown to you people, and in the hollow space, that is inside the rectangular cavity, we have such a shorting plate at the end, and this is the dielectric slab which will have the absorption of the microwave signal or the microwave power, we can say, that is coming from the another end. So the dielectric slab is exhibiting the pure resistive nature, that is why the absorption is made possible here. Now to look at the two sectional views here, if you see the front view, and it will be having this kind of visualization here, where the dimensions of the rectangular cross section, small a for the broader and small b for the smaller, we can represent here, and in between there it will be a centrally placed dielectric slab here, so that the power absorption can be made here. Now the rectangular waveguide cavity has not been completely filled up by the dielectric slab, but a certain space has been covered because of this dielectric slab. Hence we can say this is the fixed attenuator here. To see the side view and to see this particular shape, the tapering is most possibly done, so that to reduce the reflections here, see the side view will represent such a shaded dielectric slab here, which has a shorting plate at the end here. Now whenever the microwave signal will incident onto the dielectric slab in its particular journey, so originally we have the orientation of the E field vector like this here. So finally going from bottom to the top end up to this dielectric slab, there it will be the vanishing of the E field vector here. So the absorption of the microwave power can be made possible. To talk about the generalized dimensions here, most possibly the bottom length of the dielectric slab is taken twice of lambda suffix g, where lambda suffix g is called as the guide wavelength, whereas the top length of the dielectric slab is kept to the proportion of 3/2 times lambda suffix g, the guide wavelength here. So the earlier schematic diagram has given us information regarding the fixed amount of the attenuation to be made. The assembly was as such that the dielectric slab has the fixed dimension and was completely inside the waveguide cavity. Now in this particular diagram, you can see here this is the rectangular cross section, and the assembly as like we have seen in the case of the phase shifter here, where we have a locking screw, the adjusting knob and the dial to have the readings, where this is not completely only a dielectric slab but a resistive cord, we can say, that can be inserted inside the cavity space for the rectangular waveguide with the help of this slot here. So such a type of the attenuator is called as flap attenuator. So it is very simple to know, with the adjustment knob here we can have the resistive cord inside the cavity of the rectangular waveguide here. So this is the cross-sectional view where the complete insertion of the resistive cord up to the bottom wall of the rectangular waveguide is there, so which will be offering the maximum attenuation inside the transmission line, whereas if it has been completely outside the cavity with no insertion, so at the zero reading of the knob we can say it will be the minimum attenuation. So these are the two extreme conditions of use by this flap type of the attenuator shown in the cross-sectional views here. Now when we talk about the movement so that the dielectric slab or the resistive material that is absorbing the microwave signal can be adjusted to its particular position, we have this example. So this example is of movable Vane attenuator. So the three-dimensional view can be seen onto the left hand side, where we have the movable vane at the center position represented here, which is connected to the assembly by the bolt here. So by having the movement in this particular bolt, we can shift the location of this movable vane inside the cavity of rectangular waveguide, for example here. So now in the second diagram, so we have the maximum alteration possible with the help of the knob or the bolt that has completely been shifted inside the waveguide cavity, so that this is the shaded portion for the resistive material at this particular position. Now when the bolt has been completely opened, so that the resistive material has been shifted to one side, so that it will be having the effective area of the cavity changed, so it will be offering the minimum kind of the attenuation inside the rectangular waveguide, which is a transmission line here. Now both the types of the attenuators we have seen, the mechanical assemblies are associated for the variable type of the attenuator as well as the fixed type of the attenuators we have seen. Few of the applications require the precise changes into the attenuation levels. So this is the one example for it. So this example, we can say this is for the rotary wave precision attenuator. So in this attenuator, you can see here onto the left hand side as well as onto the right hand side, we have the rectangular openings here. So the rectangular openings, so it means it is the end of rectangular waveguide here, whereas at the middle portions we have the circular openings here, circular cross sections. So therefore I can say that here it is a transition from the circular cross section to the rectangular on both the sides here. So at the center we have the circular waveguide, whereas at the ends we have the rectangular waveguides. Now we consider the propagation of the microwave signal with the dominant mode. So for the rectangular openings, the dominant mode of wave propagation will be TE10 transverse electric, whereas for the circular ones we have the dominant mode represented by TE11. So the dominant modes are offering the least possible value of the cutoff frequency. So here also we shall be having TE10 mode of wave propagation. Now you can see here the three shaded portions are represented. These are basically the resistive vanes here. Now here at the point number 1 represented here, this is the resistive vane that has been aligned to the broader dimension of the rectangular waveguide. So it is in the horizontal plane here. Whereas in the third case here, we have the vertical orientation of the resistive plane, which is as like the vertical orientation of the E field vector shown for the TE10 mode of wave propagation in the rectangular waveguide here. So the horizontal plane, the vertical plane, and the third one, this is with the assembly for the second point denoted a rotary one. So a certain angle of theta can be changed to the alignment of the resistive vane, so that we can have the adjustment into the attenuation level at the precise levels here. So using the three, the precise value of the attenuation can be obtained here. There it is the case that if we have the resistive vane inside the cavity of waveguide, if it is having parallel orientation to the electric field vectors there, so that time it will completely absorb it here. So in the first case we find the electric field that has been vertically oriented, whereas this is having horizontally oriented, so it will not affect the flow of microwave signal through it. Now in the third case, the resistive vein is also having vertical orientation. The E field is also having vertical orientation. So the vertical oriented component in general can be completely absorbed here. Whereas at the middle, the effect of the angle theta can resolve the component into E cos theta, E sin theta. So the corresponding trigonometric component for the E field vector can be attenuated with the help of the rotary type of the wave precision attenuator seen in this particular diagram. Now in the practical setup, while you will be performing the experiments onto the microwave engineering task here, this is the schematic diagram to show you the variable type of the attenuator here. So here at the bottom we have a rectangular waveguide here, and in between there it is the assembly to have some kind of the resistive material to be inserted to certain depth inside the rectangular cavity there. So for the movement, the knob with the markings onto the circular scale have been represented here, so that we can have the depth of the resistive material at the variable levels, attenuating the microwave signal flowing from port 1 to port 2. In general, we can say at the variable values here. So this completes our topic attenuator as well as our chapter microwave components. By the next lecture, we shall start with the next chapter in the subject. So the subject is microwave engineering, and the chapter it will be the microwave measurements. So very first of all, we shall be addressing the low frequency measurements versus the high, it means the microwave frequency measurements. So I hope you shall continue with the Ekeeda channel to have the information and more knowledge on microwave engineering. Thank you.